Hey everyone, how's it going? So, today, guess what? I'm doing a review. Can you guess what game for? It's not like the thumbnail gives it away or anything, but Transiruby, developed by Skipmore and Esquadra, published by Flyhigh Works. It is $14.99 on the Steam store, and there are plans to release on the Nintendo Switch. Get that. This game is wicked cool. I had seen screenshots, GIFs, teasers, you name it, for a long while. Probably a year or so ago, I had heard about this game and was thrilled because I really, really love Skipmore. I had played Faerun Collection as well as Comico. I know that I want to play Pick and Tier at some point as well. And yeah, I honestly am a big fan of Skipmore. I feel like those games are very solid in their own ways. Mainly just because, like, I rarely encounter any bugs, and the games themselves are charming. The pixel art is very vibrant, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. So anyway, let's get right into Transiruby here. I hope you're excited because I am excited to talk about it. Let's go. Transiruby is a casual exploration type metroidvania game with a stab at a few other genres as well. You play as Tsuruby, a cyborg, alongside her trusty AI companion named Necom. They are aboard a ship out in space looking for and assessing unknown particles. After a bit of banter between the two characters, the unexpected comes along, a dimension fall. Tsuruby, a bit hasty, rushes off to explore this new dimension realm in search for any new and useful resources. Tsuruby crash lands on this new world. She explains to Necom that she no longer has access to her gear. Necom then sends out a number of automobile containers to explore the area, gathering material for new gear. At this point, the game fully begins. For those of you that enjoy a bit of exploring, you will be quite familiar with what you need to do from here. Currently, you only have the ability to jump and slash at enemies with a crystal rod, or sword. As you venture, you will come across beings known as Dark Materians. These Dark Materians, when defeated, give you some sort of unknown substance, but what could it be? A short while of exploring and going to a few limited areas, you obtain a very useful element gun. The element gun has the ability to freeze any Dark Materian in motion. When this happens, you can use the frozen enemy as a platform, thus reaching new heights. The game has you doing this frequently, so get nice and familiar with it. There were times when I had forgotten to do this and was venturing around for a few minutes, scratching my head, wondering where in the heck I was supposed to go, when all of a sudden it clicked, and of course, laughed at myself for being the way that I am. Now, this element gun uses EP. You gain EP by defeating enemies, and when you combo kill, the amount of EP you earn is essentially doubled, more or less. I say that because there is a sort of cap to how much you earn after you kill like 7 or 8 enemies. You earn like 12 EP, and that's about the max that you can earn. So when you kill 10 or 12 enemies in a row, don't expect to earn like 50 for those enemies at that point. So what happens when you destroy an enemy that is frozen? Well, I'm glad you asked. There is a 30% chance that life points, or LP for short, drop, meaning if you're in dire need of health, you can simply blast enemies with a element shot and take them out quick for a chance at some sweet heals. Be careful using your element gun on a lot of enemies because you will often use element shots to unlock doors too. The switches will have a set number of element shots required to unlock passage to these subsections. If you don't have enough shots, you will be forced to find several enemies to combo. EP is easy to obtain, but takes several points for one charge, so it's best to keep up on EP. One of your main objectives in Transiruby are to collect tranships, 50 in total, to unlock a different section of the same area. And then, guess what? You get to collect 50 all over again, and again, and again. Of course, the map displays where these tranships are located, not to its exact point, but more or less in the general vicinity. Mind you, there are multiple areas in the game, so you'll be collecting hundreds of these things, and that's not an exaggeration. A lot of times you won't find or get access to these tranships unless you obtain a new piece of gear or item that unlocks a different door for that area that you need to get the tranships. So, back to exploring it is. When you aren't exploring, there will occasionally be boss battles, one in each area. These battles are a bit on the easy side, but personally speaking, I don't mind that so much. Unfortunately, you cannot freeze the boss and one-hit it like you can with most other enemies, so don't go trying that. Let's just say if you have played any platformers, you know that bosses have a few repetitive motions, attacks, and the likes. What makes it a bit too easy is the fact you can literally hack and slash at the boss, dealing damage to almost any part, and then getting the chance at a crit spot. Once defeated, another cyborg named Yamato finds her way out. Unsure of where or what she is doing, she is just there doing research of some kind. Yamato then warns you of more danger ahead and vanishes without a second word. Very weird. Ominous, some might say. Yeah. So, I don't want to get too much into other characters and lore. Let's just say there will be several new characters that you become familiar with. In terms of lore, the higher your game's completion, the more data you have access to in the database at the game's title screen. While exploring, you will of course find new gear and gear upgrades, not to mention secrets, which the developer has done in almost all of their other titles. They are usually the same 4 secrets: a piece of sushi, hamburger, a feather, and a pixelated avatar of the developer. I'm unsure if whether you get any sort of special item in obtaining these secrets, so you'll just have to find out for yourself. With new gear in hand, like the double jump, motorbike, and gravity glove, you will continue finding areas you've never been. That goes without saying. There are tiny little bits of puzzle-like elements you will need to overcome too. Like just after defeating a boss, you will find a DNA quartz, but really what Transiruby is after is a DNA record. The puzzle there is very similar to a mobile game I've played called Unblock Me. It's an easy, yet effective way to keep you on your toes. Other than that, I can't say the puzzle elements are much more difficult than that, as long as you've got a bit of common sense. I will say, there were a couple stumpers, but overall, I had not spent more than maybe 5 to 10 minutes on a single puzzle. Sadly, I will not be showing you the end of the game, but I will say this. The way the final area and boss battle commence is truly a treat. I was growing a little weary with the repetitive notion that I would be exploring for a few more hours, and luckily, this was not the case. Upgrades fully maxed out, all abilities earned, I was raring to battle this bad boy. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the review, I feel like the developer really liked to test the waters with a few genres. It was a good blend where I didn't feel it was just a straight-up metroidvania, especially when Transiruby was flying through the sky blasting enemies out of the air. Really, there was a bit of everything, and I couldn't have been more happy about it. Now, for as much praise as I give the game, I, of course, have a few gripes with it. Luckily, not too many, and I'll clarify, most of them are not even worth mentioning. The one thing I will note is that I really felt it took a while for any sort of teleportation method or quick travel. The amount of times I would loop around from area to area was kind of redundant, and found myself wanting to travel around more quickly. The map does a great job of showing you the main objective and where to find key items, but it still felt like I was going crazy. Getting to the end of this review, I found Transiruby to be a wonderful experience, especially if you are just dipping your toes into the Metroidvania-style games like I am. It isn't unlike other Metroidvania games, to say the least, but Transiruby holds its own charm, that's for sure. The game is vibrant, has a low skill ceiling, feels tight mechanically, and the soundtrack fits the theme perfectly. Not to mention, if you buy the FM Synth DLC, you'll get that extra bit of feeling nostalgic, you know what I'm saying? I can see why the game was quite casual, as it seems the developer has a soft spot for speedrunners. With a ranking system at the title screen, you can check your best completion times. So if you enjoy speedrunning, then give it a go. I'd actually be quite curious to see how quickly some of you complete it. Moving on, Transiruby has a fair bit of Easter eggs that fans of Skipmore's other titles might enjoy. Keeping your eyes peeled, there are quite a few of them. The game was much longer than expected, and it's mainly due to the scale of each new area. You were constantly running back and forth, double and triple checking access points and any other little things you might have missed along the way. Also, there were a handful of times during dialogue that I had gotten a chuckle or two because of the silly comments ensuing between Sarubi and some of the other characters. I'll always say, if a game can make me laugh or cry, it's destined to be a gem, and this was no exception. Final verdict, I had a lot of fun exploring Transiruby. Despite its few flaws, I thought the game was a gem. For $14.99, I'm going to say the game's worth every penny. And out of 10, I'm slapping this one with a 9. It's affordable, easy, and fun for all ages 8+. And you know you are getting a quality, virtually bug-free game when you play anything Skipmore. Now, I placed the bar really high right there, but that's just because of the countless experiences I've had in Kamiko and Faerun and now Transiruby, to where literally I feel like these can get the Nintendo quality seal on them and no one will even know it's an indie game. Boom. Bar set. Sorry, Skipmore, I know I placed it really high for you, but that's just how I feel. There you have it. A big thanks goes out to Flyhigh Works for providing me with a review code. I hope you enjoyed this review and consider at least trying the demo. Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot to mention, there is a demo over on Steam if you're still on the fence about the game, so there you go. Go try it out. Thanks for watching this video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, of course. Be sure to follow Skipmore and Flyhigh Works over on social media, and of course, Indie Drop, to stay up to date on all things indie. Have a wonderful day. We'll catch you in the next video.